Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure diorama review. Today, we're going to be looking at the Nest Concept Fire Escape Shelf. Now this is not actually intended for action figures. This is some sort of wall decor that people would use as decorations in their house, maybe to store stuff on. I don't actually know anybody that would want something like that on their wall. I mean, it's kind of cool for what it is, but it doesn't have a lot of shelf space, storage space. But this is a gem for your action figure collecting. This should be a perfect fire escape for your 1/12 scale action figures, anything for 6 and 7 inch scale. This is wall mounted, so you're going to need an open wall area to be able to display this thing. Although I have some different ideas for this. I got this from Amazon.com. There are a few different fire escape display type options on there, and they're fairly reasonably priced. So let's go ahead and check out the packaging. As you can see at the front, we have the fire escape. It actually shows 3 tiers on here, but there's actually 4 tiers in this package. Fire escape shelf. At the top, you can see the company Nest Concept. Fire escape shelf on the back sort of explains fire escape shelf and tells you everything that it includes. 4 shelf tiers, 4 stairs, 1 screwdriver, 10 screws, 10 screw hole plugs, and the instructions. So I hope this works for what I planned for it. We'll know shortly. So no further ado, let's open it up. And you know what? I was so impressed with the first one I got yesterday that I had to order a second one. I measured it, and I think it's going to work perfect for my plan. Of course, my plan will involve 2 of these things, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. Looks like it's going to be great action figure city diorama. Can't wait to put this together. Alright, now that we got this diorama out of the package, here are all the pieces laid out. We have 4 different sort of tiers. Then we have 4 different staircases. Got a bunch of screws, a screwdriver, etc. In addition to that, we have the instruction manual. Here's an example of everything you can do with it. This is probably what I'm going to do. Give it the 4 tier, biggest possible option. You can make it just a 3 tier thing, or you could have 2 tier things next to each other. A lot of different display options. That's pretty cool. It'll also kind of show you how you can wall mount it, use the screw, drill holes, etc. And then here are both sets out of the package. I can only imagine someone trying to make an 8 tier tall fire escape. I don't think anyone has a roof big enough for that. But there are so many different options here. 8 different levels, 8 different staircases, all interchangeable and customizable. So I had this idea of taking this makeshift building that I have. It's on top of a table, sort of simulating a larger building in my action figure city setup. This was a gift given to me a couple of years ago. Now it's made of wood. I was thinking I could attach a fire escape along either side of this thing. It's really tall. The fire escape's really tall. Hopefully it's going to work out great. So I took that custom building out to the other room so I could drill holes in it. Below is a table. Years ago I spray painted the side gray, silver, and the top black. Below that I got some Diamond Select, Jay and Silent Bob dioramas. Makes a nice little generic building. Then we have the giant tower on top. So I took this building out of my Gotham City Batman room. I took it out here where I do my reviews. Now I have a lot of work to do. We're going to start off by taking each tier, putting it against this thing, marking some holes, drilling those holes, and then screwing each tier in. We'll start off with the top level. Here's the first tier of the fire escape attached to this building. I had no idea what a pain in the ass and chore this is going to be. This requires drilling holes in there, putting the screws through there, lining them up so they're even. These pieces are pretty nice, but they're not perfect. A couple of them were bent ever so slightly, and it makes it look off a little bit in the long run. But you know what? So far, so good. Really enjoy what I'm seeing. And here's the second tier attached. Now with the ladder, the fire escape going from the top to the next floor, and we're going to add some more. It was very important to me that I be able to remove this ladder that goes up and down each level of the fire escape. I thought it might be nice to be able to have this completely clear so you can have more figures standing on there. And there are numerous ways you can attach a ladder. As long as you leave it enough clearance that it can raise up here, you can very carefully bend it around to the other side. Then remove these hooks here. That way it gives you a lot more surface area for your other figures. In addition to that, if you wanted to simply hang the ladder at the top, you can hang down the side like so. So a lot of different display options. Very pleased with this thing so far. The way I'm attaching it is pretty much permanent. Yes, I could unscrew it, but this is pretty much always going to be there in my action figure world. And as we're getting ready to add the third tier on the right hand side, and as we're adding the different fire escape levels on the right hand side, don't forget that I bought 2 sets of this thing. I've been adding them to both the right and the left side. As you can see, we have 2 tiers on the left, as well as 2 tiers on the right. And now I've added the third tier on both sides. It looks like a functioning fire escape. Only thing missing would be sort of a hole at the top where they're able to go to the level below. But honestly, that would just give us a big hole here and less surface area for your figures. So I think they made the right decision. And bear in mind, this is not actually intended for action figure use. This would be intended for storage on your wall. The action figure use is just a big old bonus. And finally, the hole's been drilled and the 4th tier is attached. I added the last ladder dangling off the front like so. Doesn't really lead to another level. It might be more appropriate in the backside though, but this way you can see in the front. So we have 4 different levels of the fire escape leading to the roof of the building, and of course the same thing on the other side. What an interesting makeshift building. Probably need to invest in painting the inside a more sort of neutral color. Now before I took this makeshift building out of my Batman room, I used to sit in there on top of the other building, making a really tall tower in Gotham City. It did have some other stuff on the rooftop before I added the fire escape pieces. Here's the rooftop as it is, pretty blank. Here's an item I had on the rooftop where I had this building displayed before. Now, the balcony seemed to be scaled a little bit too small, but I still think it looks really good on the top there. Nice little billboard on top of the building with the balcony. I'm probably going to keep this on top. Now if you move to the side, have a little fence here, blocking between the front and the back. Might just ditch that because it doesn't really give easy access to the fire escape. On the other side, I kept it open, but I have a little fence on the back, filling the gap because the diorama is not quite as big. And here's how the backside looks. Smaller little diorama with some windows and a balcony. Both these dioramas are from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Here's a shot of the entire thing from a different angle. Not quite sure how this is going to come out in the video, but it's about the only way to get into one camera shot. Now, what did I get this thing for, you ask? Of course, for a building in my Gotham City. And what kind of uses can I make out of this thing? Here's a scene with Batman and Catwoman from the new The Batman film, taking on a Riddler and a couple of his decoys on a Gotham rooftop. Here's Deadshot, sniping from on top of the roof. Or Catwoman from Arkham City on a fire escape outside of her apartment. Here's Batman taking on a couple of street thugs on the fire escape. And of course, they have reinforcements on the way. Here's a Diamond Select, Gotham, Gordon and Bullock, screaming down toward Penguin and Edward Nygma to stop running. This could even function as a rooftop of GCPD headquarters, with Gordon meeting Batman with a bat signal in the background. And here's this makeshift building, housing all the McFarlane Dark Knight's metal, evil characters. Endless amount of display space for an endless amount of evil Batman figures. Here's Red Hood taking on a few Black Mask thugs, with Black Mask above overseeing. So I went ahead and put this thing back into my Gotham City, standing very, very tall. Thing's gotta be close to 8 feet. Rooftop, top layer, fire escape on either side. Next layer. Next layer. Then the bottom of this building. Of course, we have a building even below it. Don't mind the cat under there. She likes to nest where the vent is. Another addition to Gotham City. And I wanted to remind everybody, you can have the fire escape going like this, with the ladder diagonal down each different tier. Or you could have a ladder on the outside of each tier, giving you a lot more display space for your figures. I took a gamble and also bought a 3-tier version from a different company called My Mod Essentials. It's basically the same thing, but the design is a little bit different. I'm going to find a different place to incorporate this. When I got the 4-tier in, it was just meant to be with that building. Also have these older 2 fire escapes from Hobby Lobby. These things are also wall mounted, but they can't stand on the floor, which is pretty nice. I stacked them up on top of each other. Makes for some more great additions to my Gotham City. Overall, this is a great diorama piece. It does require some work, and you have to have a significant amount of wall space to make this thing useful. And I can't imagine there's going to be very many people using it for a unique set of circumstances like myself. I am extremely pleased that it worked out like I hoped it would. I took a gamble, bought 2 sets, and it paid off. I'm very pleased with the end result. You saw a lot of examples how this could be used in my DC Batman world, but I can think of so many other scenarios. You could have a regular fire escape on a building for a ton of different action figures. This thing will fit in with your larger, probably even 8-inch figures, down to your smaller 6-inch stuff, and everything in between. This is the kind of stuff I really like. Action figure dioramas that'll enhance my overall action figure world and city. I'm going to give this thing 2 thumbs up. It is not perfect. A couple pieces were slightly bent. Quality control, I'd say, was better than the old Hobby Lobby versions. Those ones were made of a pretty poor material. I mean, these things are nothing fancy, but they get the job done, and I honestly think they look pretty good. I'll put a link in the description below at Amazon where I got these things. Who knows how long they'll be in stock. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it to the comments section. If you want to see additional action figure diorama and action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.